we do see people joining in from across Vidyas. So on that note, I would like to extend welcome to each one joining in from wherever you are right now, and greetings from Bangalore, especially warm greetings it is to each one of you, and to the Vidya family exclusively. But we have in our midst our speaker for the day, Mr. Aditya. And when I say to the Vidya family, you are included, since you are already a part of the Vidya family. But special greetings to you for taking on this session for us today. And warmest greetings from our founder, Rashmi ma'am. It is warmest greetings that come only from her to the Vidya family. So I want to make that special for each one of you. And I think it is special and sweet for us to all be on this platform, but it is even more better to grow together in a platform like this. And on that note, I would like to acknowledge our founder and president, Rashmi ma'am, and I would like to acknowledge the Vidya leadership as well for being thoughtful and caring toward our growth personally and collectively, and enabling that by bringing in the right and equipped people. And to do just that, we have in our midst Mr. Aditya again for the second time. For all those who missed his first session, I want to give a brief introduction. He is an executive life, a finance and career coach and author. And today we can look forward to him taking us through being mindful. On a personal note, I would say that I had a health concern in the month of February. And ever since, my doc put me on medication. And in a review meeting, he had asked me about how I was reacting, if I were reacting to the medication. And he asked me, he named some, reactions, and he said one of it was irritability. And I took a moment to think about it, because looking back at the months, probably I have felt irritable in many occasions, but I took a minute to respond in saying, I haven't been mindful of that. So there are so many internal and external factors every minute in our lives, and in so many internal and external aspects. And so which one are we mindful of? And I think that is why being mindful is important. And each one of our participants listening will be able to relate in their own ways to how and which internal, external factor are we being mindful of. So I think, sir, you're going to take us through that today, and we look forward to you doing that. And as we were discussing on this webinar, you said you would like to keep it interactive, but I would like to begin that interaction with you, since it is your second time with us, and as you are going to take over the session. I want to ask you if there's a fun fact about yourself that you would like the Vidya family to know, apart from all that I mentioned in my brief introduction. What would that be? And after sharing that, you can take it onwards. So I would like to clap hands and welcome you to take over our Being Mindful episode of Self-Love Workshop. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Leah. You've stumped me with that question, asking a fun fact about me.
Just want to see which you are most mindful of.
Okay. Many don't believe it when I say that, but I was one of the highest recipient of disciplinary cards when I was in school. Wow. So, wow. so this is not for being a disciplined child, but being so very indisciplined. So.
That is quite a journey. We would love to know more of that.
Yeah. All right. So thanks a lot, Leah, for that introduction. Thank you for the coordination that you were doing behind the scenes much before we have started this event. This event, the way we will run this next 1 hour is, let's keep it interactive. Okay. Whenever you have a question, either type it in the chat box. If possible, I'll try to look at it and I'll respond to it immediately. Or unmute yourself and ask me the question. Feel free to do it. We're going to have loads of exercises in this, loads of experience sharing. and that's how we would like to have this conversation. Mind you, every conversation that I have, I won't call these sessions or talk shows or workshops, because these are conversations the way I see them, and I would learn from these conversations as much as you would be learning. So it's a journey in which we are all together in it. So don't look at me as somebody who is coming and preaching something. It's just that I know a little more about the topic, but then there's a lot that I can learn from each one of you. So let's keep this interactive. Uh, let me start with an exercise. Let's do a small exercise so that we bring everybody into the session. All right. Put your hands like this, okay, and just close them. All right. And you would just close your eyes and you would just focus on your hands. Just focus on your hands till the time I tell you can open your eyes. Just focus on your hands. Do nothing. Just focus on your hands. Keep your focus on the hands. Okay, you may open your eyes. Now, I want you to unmute anybody who would like to. Unmute and talk about your reflection on this 1 minute. We did it for 60 seconds. And tell me what your reflection of the 60 seconds was. Anybody can do that. It's a very silent group.
Frankly speaking, the moment you said you just concentrate only your hands, for the first few seconds, I try to concentrate only with respect to hands. But after a few seconds, like I ensure that my thoughts or thing doesn't go wander here and there. So I have to forcefully pull back my thoughts to concentrate only on the hands. So when I think more about only my hands, what to say is we fail to do so completely. That is what is my observation.
Very
Thinking
interesting.
thinking that I have to think only about that and not anything else. That thought is more prevalent or more prominent than any other thing.
Very interesting observation. So the
So
fact that
this is Rekha. I just want to share my observation.
Yeah,
I suddenly felt my hands becoming heavy since I was continuously focusing on my hands. And then there was a fly which was sitting on sat on my hands, and I was just focusing along with the hands that fly also. There was a tendency to remove the holding position and hit that thing, but it was quite interesting.
Okay. So you felt that your hands were becoming a little heavier as your focus was more and
Yes.
you had a friend playing with you on your hands, basically. That's interesting. Yes. Anybody else? Okay. In the chat box, I want you to type the percentage of time that you were able to focus on the hands. Just the percentage, 10%, 50%, 100%, 10 seconds. Okay, that's about 1/6. Anybody else who would like to type? 50 seconds. Oh, okay. %. 50. Okay. 30 seconds. All right.
I just looked like the only person diligently doing that because you could see it. But honestly, my thoughts were, did I miss something in the introduction, or are people in here? So my thoughts are all over the place. I'd just like to add that. Yeah.
No, that happens. See, even the fact that I need to focus on my hands says that you're not focusing on your hands. Even the thought that, okay, or your mind saying, wow, you're focusing pretty well. Even that is not focusing on your palms, on your hands. So it is that minute. When you're focusing on your palms, when you're focusing on your hands, it has to be just as to how it is feeling, the warmth of it. The moment you feel the warmth of it, you say, oh, this is better than the weather outside. That means your focus is out. Okay. Now, a study by Harvard psychologists, there are a couple of psychologists in Harvard who've done a study. The names of these psychologists are Matthew Killingsworth and Daniel Gilbert. So these two guys tried to study a bunch of individuals and tried to see what percentage of our time does our mind stick on a particular aspect and what percentage of time does it wander. Okay. If you see in the exercise that you have done just now, your mind was wandering sometimes and was fixated on the target sometimes. They found out that in a best case scenario, I'm not talking about the worst case or average, talking about the best case. In a best case scenario, 47% of the time, our mind wanders. What it means is that 47% of the time, we are either in the past or in the future. We are not in that moment. And that's the best case. You can imagine what the worst case is. It varies from individual to individual, situation to situation, right? Now, if we have our mind wandering 47% of the time, and if it's not present in the moment for at least 47% of the time, how come we are getting so many things done? How are so many things happening around us? Any guesses? Any guesses as to how come so many things are happening? You can either type or unmute and say. And when you're typing in the chat box, type it for everybody unless and until it's a specific thing for me. Because when others read it, even they would get to learn from it. Anybody would like to take a guess as to how things are happening? Did anyone hear the word called multitasking? That's what we all do. I'm driving and I'm on the call with somebody. I'm cooking. I'm talking to somebody. A human brain can do multiple tasks. Yeah, it can do multiple tasks, but multitasking is a different thing. Multitasking is you're doing more than one task simultaneously. Many of you are sitting here. Some of you are with me. But some of you, the moment you hear something, your mind goes into some other thing. It starts looking out for something else. This is what is multitasking is. Like sometime back when I was coaching a client, this client told me that, you know what, cooking de-stresses me. Whenever I feel stressed out, I cook and I feel de-stressed. But of late, I found out that even that's not helping. He said, can you help me out? So I asked him, okay, fine. You tell me the entire process of cooking. What do you do while cooking? He says, I do this, I do that, and all that stuff. I said, a little more. I want exactly what you did when you were cooking yesterday. So he said, as I started cooking, I got a call from my office. So I picked up the call. I was talking to my boss. He needed some data. So I spoke to him. I finished the call. I opened my laptop while the stuff was cooking, the curry or whatever it was cooking. I was focusing on working the stuff out and then sending it out. So I told him, okay, fine. What you do next time is when you start cooking, you keep your phone on silent, keep your phone away. All the gadgets away. Just focus on cooking. Don't do anything else. Do that for a week and then come back and tell me. When he came back, he found out that it was different. He said the magic is back. I started enjoying the cooking. You know what was happening there? While he was cooking, his focus was on what his boss said. His focus was on what he had to give it to the boss. His focus on some of the arguments that were happening. The focus is not on what he was doing. Does that sound familiar to all of us? All right. Let's play a game. Okay. Now you have to keep a time on this and be honest. Okay. I'm not there to measure the time for you guys. It's a very simple game. You would start with A, B, C. You will say that till Z. And you don't have to unmute and say, you can just say it to yourself. And say it as fast as you can. Okay. And then you would parallelly time it and tell me how many seconds it has happened and put it on the chat box. I'll say start and then each of you would start. Once you finish, you will type the time and tell me how long it took. Okay. Start. And put the times. You should have finished it by now. How long did it take for you guys? Five seconds. Okay, that's fast. Mugdha has taken 5 seconds. Okay, 9 seconds. 7 seconds. Okay, one more 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Okay, I keep getting
10 seconds.
Sorry?
10.
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah. Thanks, Mala. 10 seconds. So I'm getting responses in that range, in the 5 to 10 second range. Great. Now what I want you to do, again, repeat this task, but this time you would count from 1 to 26 and keep the time and tell me how long it took for you to say it as fast as you can and then give me the times.
5 seconds again.
5 seconds for Pratima. Great.
4
5
seconds.
seconds. 5
Sorry,
seconds.
Rekha?
4 seconds.
4 seconds. Okay.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. Yeah, 5, 4, 9. So it's all in the 5 to 10 range once again. Fantastic. Now what you would do is you would say A1, B2, C3, and say it as fast as you can and tell me how long it took. You're not writing, you're saying. Okay.
$15 seconds.
You finished it in 15 seconds. A1, B2, C3 till Z26.
27 seconds.
27 seconds. Okay.
25 seconds.
25 seconds. It's taking time. Yeah. Somebody has pinged me saying
More
that it's
than
taking.
30 seconds, but it's very confusing, you know.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
confusing.
Like I've forgotten alphabets.
Brain is off, someone says.
One had to concentrate on it actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, what is happening here? If you took 5 seconds to say A1 to A to Z or Z, if you took 5 seconds to say 1 to 26, saying A1, B2 and C3 and so on till Z26 should take you 10 seconds, logically speaking.
Mm. It
But
doesn't.
it's not. It is not. It doesn't. This is exactly what multitasking is doing to us. What do we do in multitasking? We do a bit of this, you do a bit of that. Now, between switching of the task, your mind goes through something called a break time. It needs that break. So multitasking, contrary to public belief, is actually detrimental. It's not helping you. Okay. So just as you did in this exercise, where you said A and 1, it's just you've learned A, B, C, D all the way till Z in your kindergarten. You've learned 1 to 26 in your kindergarten. Still, you couldn't mix them two and then take them at one go. You've passed out from your kindergarten decades ago, right? It's not a very recent one. But still, we cannot do. So that's the limitation of the mind. It needs that break time. So a lot of research has shown that every time you try to multitask, not only our performance goes down, even our IQ drops down by a good 10 points, basically. How many times did it happen that you send a mail and you said, oh, I shouldn't have done it? How many times it has happened? Or you're typing a mail, you're on a call, and you say something you shouldn't have said. In an email, you still have an option to recall in sometimes. But once you say something, you can't recall, unfortunately. The other person will keep recalling it for the rest of their lives. So this is what multitasking does. Contrary to public belief, it degenerates our performance levels. It deteriorates our performance levels. It causes a lot of stress in our minds. It brings down our IQ levels. If it is happening on a consistent basis, it also leads to sleeplessness. Okay, so there are so many other detrimental things that are happening with the challenges of multitasking. I think Pratima wants to ask a question. Am I right, Pratima?
Yes, please. I
Yeah,
had a
please.
small point here.
Sure.
See, multitasking is okay when the two tasks are similar. For example, if I am working on the computer, I can do two similar tasks at the same time and I do them quite fast too. But if it is something very, very different, like you said, okay, typing a mail and talking on the phone, maybe that slows you down. But I think multitasking helps me do many things
Yeah.
in a little bit time.
Yeah. What you think multitasking is actually not multitasking. When you're doing two simultaneous things on the computer at the same time, okay. When you are doing one thing, your mind is switching off from the other thing. You are subconsciously doing it. There are certain multitasking activities which are harmless. Like, say, for example, you're driving and listening to music. If you're good and competent at driving, okay, you might listen to music. There is no harm in that. But at the same time, driving and talking over the phone may not be really helpful. Okay. A lot of times people, while they go out for a walk, they play some music, or they are on the calls. While that is not harmful, it's not really hampering any of your capabilities or what have you. Okay, but what it is depriving you of is the fact that when you're walking, there might be some fresh air, new fragrance that is there in any of the plants. Okay, there might be a beautiful flower that is there. You're missing all this beauty. So this is where the mindfulness comes into play.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So what does mindfulness mean? Can anybody define what mindfulness is? What according to you mindfulness is?
Observing everyday joys in life.
Okay. Vashiti says observing everyday joys in life. Okay.
Be at the present, be at the moment.
Be in the moment. All right.
Being conscious of what's happening around you.
Being conscious of what's happening around us. Okay. Thanks, Rika. It's a bit of all what you have said. So it's nothing but it's paying attention to what's happening to the present moment. Okay. Not just in the mind, but also in the body and even in the external environment. And the way you are paying attention to it is not in a judgmental way. You're paying attention to it like a child who is very curious about things. If you see a child, you give a new toy to a kid, small kid I'm talking about. The kid is all over that toy. The kid doesn't judge whether the toy is good or bad. The kid just grabs the toy, looks at it, looks at its colors, to the extent that the kid dismantles it completely sometimes. Okay. So that's the level of curiosity that the kid has. The same way, when we are looking at something, when we are experiencing something, you're not judging whether it is good or bad. You're just experiencing it. You're looking at it with curiosity. You're looking at it with kindness, basically. So that's what mindfulness is. In fact, you all have kind of put it in one way or the other. So that's what mindfulness is. Now, if that is mindfulness, we have seen what multitasking can do to us, things like that. Can you tell me what are the benefits of mindfulness, being mindful?
You're basically enjoying what you are doing at the maximum.
Fantastic. That's a great thing. I really love the last word that you have said, Pratima, at the maximum. Right? I'll give a small example. All right. So this there used to be a restaurant. I don't know whether it is still there or not. In Bangalore, it's called Blindfold. Okay. So once I went there with my family, and later on I've taken my friends and a whole bunch of people there. They got a lot of business because of me. But the first time I went there, my wife doesn't eat a lot of spice. She doesn't like spicy food. Though I'm from Andhra, the food in our house is very bland. Okay, quite unlike Andhra's. So as we went there, my wife said, I hope the food is not spicy because I can't take too much of spice. So that guy made a very interesting statement. He said, ma'am, we're going to tie your eyes down when you're eating. The room is 90% dark. You cannot see. Okay. At that stage, whatever you consume, its taste, its spices, its feeling, everything accentuates. So we taper everything down. With your eyes open, if you can eat X percentage of spice, with your eyes closed and fully focused on it, you don't need X percentage of spice to kind of touch your taste buds. X minus 50% or whatever would work for you. So that statement stuck with me. And when we were eating, our focus was solely on the flavors of the food, on everything that is being served. And guess what? We ended up eating less, but we were full. And we really loved the food. It was a very simple food. Dal, roti, rice, one sabzi, some papad, and a sweet. That's all. I think we paid some $300-400 for that. If it is in a different restaurant, we would have said, what kind of money are you charging? But there we paid for the experience. So I really love your statement, Pratima. Thanks a lot for that. Any other
I'm
benefit?
going to try this blindfold thing for the next time my guests come.
Exactly.
That's a good one. But you can try it in a different way. Okay? See, the thing is,
Try it out. Next.
so the thing is, we are so dependent on our eyes for the feedback of what is happening around us. So we look at the food and we judge whether it is good or bad most of the times. Okay. But instead of that, don't focus on that. Take your time chewing the food. Chew it so much that it becomes watery and it just runs down your throat. And focus on what you're chewing, how much you're chewing, how the food is changing as you're chewing. Just try that out for a meal and jot down what your experiences are. Trust me, the experiences will be life-changing. Any other benefits of mindfulness?
When you're mindful, you concentrate very much on what you're doing. You're just thinking of that very thing and not
Correct.
anything else, you know.
Exactly. You're more focused, you're more concentrated on what you're doing. As a result, your overall productivity improves. The quality of the output that you're generating improves. A lot of times, it's a very good point that you have brought about, Mala, because a lot of times people think that mindfulness, it has got nothing to do with my professional life. It is all about personal life. But on the contrary, it helps so much in terms of your professional life. Like SAP, the global major in technology major, basically, they have got some of their senior executives go through mindfulness over a period of 45 days or something like that. Okay. And they've seen that there's a significant jump in their productivity, their ability to manage situations in a much better way. Their overall leadership skills have improved significantly. So thanks for bringing that point up, Mala. Great point. Yeah. Any other things that come to your mind?
I think you become mindful of your feelings. So for example, if I'm angry and I'm mindful that, yes, I'm feeling anger, then maybe I can think of the causes and think of ways to handle it. Similarly with sadness, anxiety, stress.
Fantastic point, Pratima. Fantastic point. When you're mindful, you not only know what your feelings are, you will also know what those triggers are. And your overall awareness levels, your self-awareness levels, they go up significantly. That's a great point. Thank you. Anything else?
The anxiety and stress levels considerably reduce.
Very true, Nandini. As a result of these things, so what happens is, if you see, they're all tied to each other. When you know what you're feeling, when you know why you're feeling, your awareness level goes up, as a result of which you would stop reacting to a whole lot of things. So you're less anxious and your stress levels are lower because you're no longer reacting to things. You're responding to things. When you respond, you're far more controlled. You're far more measured. You have a lot of clarity. So as a result of which, all these things will go down. Great point. Thanks, Nandini. We can stop creating unrelated thoughts. Very true. So if you see, that's a great point. Who has said that? Yeah, Kavita, right? So if you see small kids, right? Small kids, people say that kids have a lot of energy. But how come they have so much energy? We eat more food than them. We are stronger than them as adults. We're much more stronger compared to a 3-4-year-old kid. And that guy barely eats. It scares to death the parents to feed the kid. Parents can't feed the kids. And even if he eats, he only eats this much. But how come their energy levels are so high and our energy levels are so low? It's because they are just focused in the moment. They're just focusing in the moment. If they are playing with a toy, they're just playing with a toy. If the kid is pestering you for a chocolate or something, he's just focused on that. Nothing around him bothers, really. But whereas us, if I'm sitting here, other than my body, nothing else is here. My thoughts are somewhere, my feelings are somewhere, everything is all around the place. Either in the past or in the future. We rarely live in our houses. We live either in our past or in our future. We stay there more than in our house. So when you're focused on the moment, you are a lot more energetic. And at the same time, you're a lot more calmer, you're a lot more composed. So there are a whole lot of benefits of practicing mindfulness. Now, a lot of theory, but how do we practice mindfulness? I'll introduce you all to a small technique. Okay, very simple practice. It would take a few minutes of your time. The way we would do this, again, this is not a religious practice. Don't mistake it for any religious practice. This is just a simple mindfulness meditation. Right? With your permission, can I take you on? If anybody has, please ping me. I don't see anything. So it would take, I will guide you through the process. Wherever you're sitting, sit comfortably. If you want to lean back onto the backrest of your chair, feel free to do that. Okay. You would close your eyes. I'm talking about the process, and then I'll guide you through the process. And throughout these 10 minutes, I would, 10 or 12 minutes, whatever that time I decide, I would be there with you. I would be talking less, but I would be there with you. You don't have to worry whether the connection is on or not. Don't worry about that. Okay. So you would sit comfortably. If you are having glasses, you can remove those glasses and keep them aside. You would keep your palms open this way and place them upwards, facing upwards. Okay. And relax the palms. You place them on your thighs. All right. Just close your eyes. And we would do 3 inhalations and exhalations. You will inhale with your nostrils and exhale with your mouth. I would guide you through that, don't worry. And you would follow the instructions after that. All right. Let's start with the first inhalation. Inhale slowly, deeply. And as you're exhaling with your mouth open, your body is relaxing into it. Take one more inhalation. And exhale slowly and completely. You find that your body is even more relaxed. One more inhalation. Deep. Go as deep as you can. And exhale fully and completely this time. Your body is fully relaxed. Keep your eyes closed. And let your body breathe normally. You would inhale through your nostrils and exhale through your nostrils only. And what you will start doing now is just focus on your breath. Just simply focus on your breath. Feel the warmth of the air that is going into your nostrils. See where it is going. Is it in your throat, in your lungs, in your abdomen? Where, as you're exhaling, you feel that warmth of the air that is going out of your nostrils. In this process, if any thought comes to your mind, don't get angry with yourself. Don't get upset. Just acknowledge that thought and bring your focus back onto the breath. Keep your body relaxed. Keep your focus on the breath. Continue to focus on your breath. Keep your body relaxed. Just acknowledge the thoughts. Continue to focus on your breath. Keep your shoulders and palms relaxed. Focus on your breath.
आजा बंद है।
Continue to focus on your breath. Take your own time. Slowly, very slowly, open your eyes. Anybody wants to share any reflections, thoughts? How was it? I hope people have not gone to sleep. So,
Wasn't it a meditation?
it is
Like
meditation.
meditation.
Yes, it is meditation.
So it was like that. I mean, it was going into a trance. Like,
Yeah. It feels very refreshing. Somebody sent a message to me. Process, one of the most important things that you need to keep in mind is don't try to resist any thought. The moment you start resisting thoughts is all that you would have. So don't resist any thought. Don't be upset with yourself that you're getting thoughts, and don't have any targets that today I will meditate for 10 minutes, tomorrow for 15 minutes, and today I just did it for 5 minutes, so you're upset with it. Nothing. Just be open. And as you start doing this practice on a daily basis, you would start seeing that there would be a significant change in the way you think, you would act. You would see that a lot of clarity starts coming into your mind. That's because on an average, there are a lot of researchers, some Harvard research points that on a daily basis, we go through some 60-odd thousand thoughts in our mind. Now, if there are so many thoughts that are going on in your mind, how easy is it to pick up a clear thought and the right thought? It's not. It's just not practical. So what you're trying to do here is to reduce those thoughts. As you start, and of these 60,000 odd thoughts, there are some researchers that even talk about 200,000 thoughts. Okay. Now, even if we go with a conservative one and say 60,000 thoughts we are going through on a daily basis, now, how many of those thoughts are useful? Fraction of them. Barely 1%. See the amount of clutter that's going on in our mind? This is just trying to slow it down, reduce that. Now, once that reduces, the clarity of thought improves because you always have the right thoughts. It's just that in the clutter, they get lost. It's like you take a clear vessel of water and shake it up. Would you be able to see the bottom? You would not. So it needs still water is clear. Water that is disturbed, it lacks clarity. The same way, when your mind is clear, you will be able to pick the right thoughts. As you start doing this on a daily basis, you would see significant change in yourself. And not just you, people around you will start observing it in you. I'd like to pause and I can take any questions if there are.
So I have a question on the multitasking that you mentioned.
Sure.
So women are known for multitasking. So how do you justify to what you said some time back about how, doing two jobs? In fact, Pratima said, or at the same time, similar kind of jobs, yes, we can do. But if you're going to do different jobs at the same time, it's going to distract us a lot. But women are known for multitasking, and we've been trained like that. So what way, my question is, in what way by doing this, forcing ourselves to do multitasking? Because personally speaking, I can do 5 different types of job at the same time. But am I putting a lot of pressure on me by doing so, and how it is going to affect me in the long run? Because I'm speaking on behalf of all the women here, because we are known for doing multitasking.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that multitasking doesn't exist. Neither am I saying that women are bad at multitasking or women are good at multitasking. What I'm saying is multitasking, contrary to popular belief, slows you down. Multitasking, contrary to popular belief, it tries to reduce your overall productivity levels. Okay. Be it women or men, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, when we also need to think about one more thing. If, let's say, for example, I'm reading a book and I'm writing an email, official email. Okay. Now, I read a couple of paragraphs in the book, I keep it aside, focus on the email and send it out and come back to the book. Now, that technically is not multitasking because I'm stopping one task, I'm switching to another task, I'm focusing on that, I'm finishing it and coming back to my task.
Yeah.
We often mistake doing multiple tasks in one go to multitasking. Multitasking is doing tasks simultaneously.
Okay.
Okay. So there's a difference in that. But what is happening when I'm reading a book and I'm writing an email? I read the book and then I start focusing on the email. My mind has to switch off from what I read and shift its focus onto what I'm supposed to write. If I'm writing summary of the book, that's a different story. But if I'm writing a professional, serious email and I'm reading a murder mystery, they're two different things. So I have to take it off and then bring it on here. So there is a lag that happens in that. Instead, if I just focus on the email completely and get done with it and then move on to my murder mystery, then I would save a lot of time. And that's the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay, thank you.
Personally speaking, I think it makes my mind more agile, alert. If I'm able to switch, I mean, not like reading a book or writing an email, but some other tasks, which I can do simultaneously, it makes me more alert, in fact.
Yeah, it does make you alert. But what we try to do is often we tend to start pushing the limits of that. And we tend to go into territories which are a little more complex. And that's where the stress and dip in productivity starts coming in. And the lack of attention. Sorry?
If it's a fairly simplistic thing, like cooking and then talking on the phone, which we often do.
Correct.
Then you can do it together. You're cooking on one hand and you're talking. But if it's a serious thing, like you said, a book, then it requires more. But simplistic things don't require so much concentration.
Correct. So as I said, there are certain tasks which can be multitasked.
Yes.
And those are harmless ones.
Exactly.
There are some which are harmful.
Yeah.
Like sometime back, when I was working, I had a particular concept in my mind on which I wanted to write a book. Now, as long as I was working, I was not able to finish the book. As long as I was in that corporate job, because that was taking a lot of my bandwidth, of my mental bandwidth. I could finish the book once COVID has hit, because I was not stepping out. There was a lot of time that I had on my hand. I was relaxed and I was able to do it. And when I used to write the book, sometimes I used to write like 2 or 3 pages in a day. But whenever I was writing, my data would be turned off on the phone. My Wi-Fi would be turned off on my laptop. And my phone would be away from me on a silent mode, and I would just focus on that. Now I can't write an email and also write my book simultaneously. It can't happen.
Would you
So that's
say
a lot more complex activity.
Would you say that while multitasking, we can be active at our best, but not be present at our best? Would that be the way to look at that?
Yeah, that's also true.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as I said, see, let's say, for example, you are learning to cook the first time, or you're learning a new dish the first time, and where you have to see, like you're frying the onion, and the person who's training you says, look at it, it should come at this brown color. This is the shade of the brown color it should come. Now, you don't want to take a phone call at that time. You can't be talking and then you're doing. The same way, when the first time you sat in front of the wheel of a car, even if someone talks to you, you would ask them to shut up because you're completely focused on that. Your mind is not trained on that. For your mind, that is still a complex activity. Once you master it, it becomes a routine for you. When it becomes a routine for you, then you can focus on certain things.
So just on a lighter note on this, I have done this many times while cooking. I would be having a smala set phone on my, one hand, another, and I would be, holding it with my shoulder and cutting, using my two hands to cut the vegetables. Instead of putting the peel in the dustbin, I would have put the vegetables in the dustbin and I would have kept the peel on my cutting board, many times. And many times it has happened. Then I would realize maybe I was concentrating too much on my talking that I missed out on my cooking.
Exactly. Exactly. Forget even a phone call. If you're chopping onion, you're peeling onion and chopping it, and your mind is focused on some deliverable that you have at work, this might happen. You would throw the onions and you would put the peels into the sabzi. It happens.
Many times it has happened.
Just want to note that these are women who have mastered cooking speaking.
Yeah, even if somebody who's mastered it, exactly. So whether you master at it or not, the fact that you are not mindful at that point in time, even a master can make a mistake.
So in fact, that would mean that we need to be mindful at every given moment of time, right? Only then we can be at our productive and
Best.
feeling best. So we should be mindful all the time, right?
Yep.
So, and that means basically, if you summarize it, that we should be very, very focused and aware of what is going on, what you're feeling, what is happening. That's mindfulness. That's it.
It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, it's not so simple.
True.
I wish it was that simple. So
Achieving it is in that simple.
No, it's not. Because like you said, so many thoughts, so many things to do, so many feelings. Yeah. Difficult.
So if you see, why do many people say that having a pet is so it reduces your stress a lot, or having a kid at home reduces your stress? That's because when you're playing with a pet, or okay, if
No. Having a kid at home, no.
Yes.
I have to.
Kids.
Okay. So, but the point is, like, when you're with a kid or when you're with a pet, they demand your full attention. Like one day, I was sitting with my son and I was helping with his project, and my son hates it when someone calls and I'm with him. So my wife was talking to my mom, and my mom said, "Give it to Aditya, and I need to speak to him." So my wife gave the phone to me, and I spoke a couple of things, and I gave it to my son. Say, Granny wants to say hi to you. Just, you know what? You're disturbing Dad when he's trying to teach me something. So can you please put down the phone? And then he's handed. So he was young at that point in time, but he doesn't like me to be disturbed when I'm focusing on him. So all these things, they demand your attention. Unfortunately, cooking cannot say focus on me. So we do what we do.
Rekha, blindfold the guests next time, or to the people whom you're serving the food to.
I would do that.
Yes.
Double purpose.
Yes, agreed.
Any other
And
questions?
give them a heads up, because they wouldn't know if they're having peel or they were
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, the lighter side of it aside, it's very true what you are saying, that being mindful, I find, and like you're saying, because we are all, I think most of us are into yoga, and we are aware of many things because of sessions and all that we do together. I think most of us, all of us would agree that yes, being mindful is the key to focusing, to de-stressing, to living in the moment. And in fact, I find that when you were doing that breathing thing, if you concentrate solely on your breath, after some time, the thoughts still, and there comes a small sort of light at the center of the forehead. because all your focus comes on the breath and probably your own urja or energy, which they call. So very interesting. And yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Pratima. Any other questions or anything, or we've come to the end of the session?
So thank you, Mr. Aditya. First of all, amidst these turbulent times, today you gave us an holistic and amazing session to actually feel and be a part of this mindfulness. So that's what all of us felt. And the guided exercises made us aware of what we need to concentrate at the moment to make ourselves feel light and relaxed. So the techniques shared by you will definitely help us to cope with the present lifestyle. And thanks for having given your time and interest in giving us an enriching session to know more about mindfulness and also appreciate. And I hope all of us will practice the valuable techniques you have shared with us, so that we feel more relaxed and easy in our lifestyles, instead of getting burdened or feel burdened of what we are actually doing. So thanks for enriching and enhancing the lives of so many people across the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
Nandini.
thank all the participants of Vidya for having taken their time to be a part of the session and giving us such an interactive one, making it an interactive one. And thanks, Leah, for your wonderful opening and moderation. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We
Thank
look
you,
forward to
everybody.
more.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.